thumbs up. So technical difficulties. We're live on YouTube. Here we go. So call to order. I got 608. Remember, please sign in. I got 3 public comment cards if there's anybody else out there. I don't think we do. Beautiful. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We know a few of us are missing, but roll call.
All right, roll call. Dr. Breckenridge-Pettit is not here. Dr. Hill is not here. Mr. Hobbs, Mrs. Lundberg, Mrs. Pascal, here. Ms. Shookman, and Mr. Smith.
Here. Any board member comments tonight?
I was going to give a shout out to the whole body recognition imagination team. DI tacos at Longfellow and pickled Salidans at Salida Middle School both made it to globals. And even though we had 2 teams make it, that maybe makes it sound like it's not quite as big of a deal as it is, but it's a really big deal. So shout out to all those kids who worked hard for 8 months, as well as all their coaches, bus drivers for getting them all around the state. Nice work.
Okay. Doesn't look like anybody else. Written messages to the board. I don't think we had any, but we did have the presentation provided by Chloe, but she's here to speak at public comment as well. So we'll open up public comments. Will give you a microphone. We'll do our best to keep it at the 3-minute mark. Stacy Fillet, lead the way. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hi. Hi, I'm Stacy. Stacy Fillet. I'm the speech and language therapist for the district and have been for about 20 years. I've worked in all of the buildings, even our alternative buildings, and I have a really unique perspective for the district. And first, I want to start with a few thank yous to David Blackburn and the school board for pushing the state to continue rural funding yearly. I know that's something we had to keep asking for, and now we might not have to do that. Do I understand that to be true? Okay, well, thank you for that. Thanks to Salida Education Association board members and staff who visited the Capitol and signed petitions to end the budget stabilization factor. We did this collaboratively, and I'm proud of us for that. And I really want to thank previous and current CBT members and the insurance committee who are also volunteering their time to make sure all things are better. But also what I'm here to talk about is just give you a little bit about my history or perspective. I was on traditional bargaining and then was on the team that transferred our master agreement to negotiated policies. And we spent over 100 hours in meetings face-to-face and probably more than 50 hours reading the master agreement and negotiated policies in preparation for these meetings. And so I have a lot of ownership and a strong belief that traditional bargaining is not as strong or as good as interest-based bargaining, even though it takes so much longer and brings in so many more voices. When we were finishing up the negotiated policies, Liz Amidas, who's a previous special ed teacher, said to me that she didn't think we had planned enough time yearly to get the job done. And let's be frank, like, this is a living document that's never done. And I'm just sharing that because I feel pretty vulnerable. So some ways I think we can improve or do better is to better utilize our, by including the community a little bit more in some decision making that's going on there, along with continue to develop our collaborative bargaining. I think these are necessary to increase trust and provide a voice for community members and staff. Also, because the school board has decided not to be on CBT, I think we need a non-administrative perspective shared with the school board face-to-face about the process and the recommendations that we're making. Another comment I have is that I believe that we all want to have the best schools possible. However, I think when we look at our budget, we really, really need to prioritize salaries for staff, and specifically for those people who work directly with students. And I appreciate CBT teaching and classified staff for recognizing and pressing this priority. And And third, I want to talk a little bit about negotiated policies, specifically the long-term leave. And I want to say I believe it's in the best intentions of the board to support teachers in necessary leave. I do believe that. I do believe also that the board members refused leave because they were fearful of being sued. Jody Pettit, Dr. Pettit, said she used the language massive discrimination lawsuit. Given my experience with others that have taken long-term leave, and we had to have a teacher that had come back from long-term leave. She served as a special ed teacher for half a semester and was really valued. I don't agree that extending an interview to a past employee would have put the district in legal danger, and the last 3 long-term leaves should have been granted. Lastly, I just wanted to thank Jody for her comments last month, I guess it's already been a month, about the need for delicate conversation and collaborative bargaining team in the school board. I think we
Frizzy.
Hello. I have to say my name. Renee Frizzy, Spanish teacher. I come with multiple hats today. One, the Spanish teacher, an employee, also a community member. I'm coming today. I know that Spanish has been a hot topic. Thank you guys. Thank you for carrying this conversation into where you've carried it into. I do believe clearly that Spanish is an important piece for everybody, as would be evidenced by my life's work. But I do also want to say I'm feeling a little I'm feeling unsettled with what I've been hearing. That let me start with the history of being approved with Spanish. In 2000, I think it was 17, I worked really hard. I was not an employee here to get Spanish as a community member. I put on my community member hat and I said, we need Spanish at younger levels. And we did research, we got signatures, we got a half-time position put at the middle school. Thank you, Will, for hiring me. That was a very nerve-wracking job to actually, my most nerve-wracking job I've ever applied for. Like, I'm applying for the job I created or helped create. And Will was kind enough to hire me. COVID came and everything was in a state of chaos and disarray. Understandable. We dealt with it. Spanish department lost a teacher. So now we only had 1.5 teachers. Spanish teacher went to go teach online. Chaos ensued, but the board at the time unanimously chose to have the Spanish teacher reinstated. But at that time, because the counselors had been going through changing schedules left and right, the principal at the time said, no, I don't think so. I don't want to put my counselors through that. We'll hire him next year. Next year came, didn't happen. So now we're operating as a district, a half a teacher down. And understood, I mean, all of it was understandable under the situation. COVID was crazy. It was crazy to be in the schools. It was crazy to be an administrator. It was crazy to be a community member, a teacher. Anyway, so then 2 years later, the conversation came back up from accountability committee. Once again, it was approved. Had the talk with Dr. Blackburn. We're going to have a teacher, but we decided, Dr. Blackburn said, we're going to wait until next year to hire. So we're not hiring at the end of the hiring process. And this was, I think, April might have been our conversation. Next year came, suddenly we didn't have any money. And I know there were new positions that were hired, and I know that those new positions were hired in administration, but now we don't have any money once again for the Spanish. So now we're operating on going on 4 years of a half position gone this whole time. At no time did the board decide to say, yes, we'll hire a Spanish teacher at the expense of the librarian. I am very unsettled by that. I'm unsettled. These are your kids. I've taught every single one of your kids, every single one of them, not yours yet. And I am deeply bothered by it. I walked into Vail Mountain Schools the other day, and I know it's Vail Mountain Schools. They have ski racks and not bike racks, but I walked in, the first thing I saw was this beautiful library. It was a beautiful library with kids holding up posters of what the library had done for them. My daughter said to me last night, no offense, Mom, the librarian has done so much for me. My daughter is the standing valedictorian of this class, and she said that. And I am sitting here very upset and unsettled that a program I've worked for and I believe in deeply is going to affect something that changed my own life, something that's going to change your kids' lives right now, tomorrow, when we get rid of a qualified librarian. And that's very, I just, at no other point was this on the table. A teacher, it was approved to have this without watering down anything. And now it sounds like that is a distinct possibility. And I hope you rethink that. I hope you really rethink that for your own children. I'm talking to you as a community member. I'm talking to you as a mother. I'm talking to you as a bookmobile participant when I was a kid that could not wait for that bookmobile to ding-a-ling down my street, almost more than the candy man or whatever, the ice cream truck. Well, I like that too. But I'm just saying, please consider that both are important to this school and your children and every child in this district. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. And Chloe.
Hi, I'm Chloe Crab. I'm speaking here today not just for myself, but for the other kids who do not have voices.
There's no volume.
There's
on
not a
those.
volume.
Okay.
It says
There
That's just speaking online, so just
Oh,
you're
okay.
good.
Sorry.
yell at us, it's fine.
So I'm Chloe Crab. I'm not here just speaking for myself, but speaking for the kids who don't have a voice. I think recently I've been like left out and not been able to really like hang out with my peers because of the playgrounds. And one of the things is like inclusive play is like honestly super important because it helps other kids like be able to understand what their like strengths are, and it encourages them to like see what they can and can't do. And so, and normally one out of 6 kids has a disability, which makes 5 other kids able to learn from another perspective. And in America, only 18% of school playgrounds are accessible. 5 kids in this district, I believe, are not able to play or get on the playgrounds, including myself. 3 being in elementary school, 2 being in the middle school. And there's another one coming to the middle school next year. Sorry. I'm asking that we like take out wood chips at the middle school and do a poured in rubber to get on the playground, possibly adding in like equipment that I could get on, that other kids could get on, so that everyone is able to access the playground. I did like research and stuff, and it comes to around like 17 to like maybe 20-30,000 for all of that. And which I highly recommend all of this, but it would just be so important for future students. And sorry. Gosh. And it would be able to give kids opportunities to be with their peers. Sorry, I got cut up on there. Yeah.
You did great. I know that's nerve-wracking, so great job. Okay, so that's public comments. Looking to approve the agenda with the following changes. Update to item 3I to detail approve resolution. Wait a minute, did you print this already?
I did.
Oh crap. Okay, sorry, here we go.
No, you're good.
So update item 3I to detail approve resolution 2023-24-08, declaring surplus property and authorizing sale from consent to action, which end of the action, whatever number that would be, and then add redistricting to topics for future meetings. So looking for a motion to approve agenda with those two changes. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Mandy. Any questions?
Good. I see Mandy looking for her. You're good.
Ready to vote?
All right, ready for our vote tonight. Mr. Hobbs, Ms. Lundberg, Mrs. Pascal, Ms. Schickman, and Mr. Smith.
Aye. Where are we? Reports. So we do not have any guest reports, but HEA campus report for the month. Service, take it away. Can we get her a mic too, Will, again? Thanks, guys.
I'm not even.
Yes. I don't know. Whatever works. Okay. No.
All right. Hi, Christy Service, principal of Horizons Exploratory Academy and the Crest, but our focus is Horizons tonight. I have two amazing humans here with me. I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell you what grade they are in.
I'm Milo. I'm in 10th grade now.
I'm Scotty, and I'm a senior.
Yeah, you lose track when you're a senior. I get it. Okay. All right. So who works at HEA? That is our staff. That picture, I think, says a lot about who we are and what we do. Sue Siglowski is retiring this year. She's our math teacher and she's an advisor. Jeff Creeves, science teacher and advisor. Emily Lamont is doing all the things this year. She's an English teacher. She's a half social studies teacher and she's an advisor. Alicia Rushing is our school counselor. Jenny Green is our half special ed teacher. She's back and forth like I am myself. I'm also an advisor this year as well, filling in a gap that we have. And Stacia Kriebel is our paraprofessional that she comes over for one class period. Enrollment, everyone is welcome at HEA. We've done a really great job, I think, in the past couple of years, making sure that we are reaching both to SMS and to SHS, because in previous years, sometimes ninth graders weren't necessarily encouraged to go to HEA, but actually Milo is an example of a student who came directly to HEA, and he is, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you're really happy where you are, and it's worked out great. But we are very grateful to SHS and SMS because they allow us to come over, make presentations, just make sure students know what their options are here in Salida, because there are options and it's awesome that there are options. One thing that we've implemented this year is students need to attend the first 3 weeks of the semester in order to attend HEA. Essentially to create habits for them of coming to school. Sometimes we get students who they've fallen into habits of not coming to school. So that helps. And also during that time is when we orient them to all things HEA, because HEA is quite different than the traditional school. So why do we need HEA? We start with the kid. We currently we are at capacity, we're at 40 students. And essentially we start with the kid and figure out what they need and how we're gonna get them to graduation. We have some kids who come to us who need credit recovery. We find ways to get them caught up. We also have we have a student who just transferred over from SHS this year and he's planning on graduating early. So we are getting him out the door as quickly as possible, with lots of love, of course. We also have a lot more flexibility. We do some online classes. We do work study. The students can earn up to 3 credits of work study, which is awesome. We also even have like travel credit options. If a student is going on some amazing experiential trip with their family, for example, and they make a proposal ahead of time and say, here's what I want to do, we can offer credit for that. So we just have a lot of flexibility and creativity and how kids make it to graduation. Also, it's a small family type environment. As Milo and Scotty can tell you, we all know everything about each other. We're in a small physical space, but also just we've created that on purpose. We care about these kids through and through, and we know what's going on in their lives, so that we can support them as whole humans. So lots of academic data to share with you. Lots of green. Bottom line, every test, there was growth from fall to spring last year. Our kids are awesome. Our kids are learning. Our kids are excelling. The data named, I will just say, is for students who took both tests. But our data is looking really strong these days. More data to share with you. A few reds, but this is from the fall. So this is how we started this school year. So we'll measure the growth then, right, from the fall to the spring. So this is just our starting point. The red essentially means that they are below the national average. So for example, our 10th grade math is lower than we would want it to be. And so we are hoping to get it at, above a 229 in the spring. Lots of more fun, exciting data. Our 4-year graduation rate has been increasing. Matriculation we dropped a little in 21, but we are going back up. Dropout rate is going down. Attendance rate is, for the most part, going up. We dipped a little bit in 22. But simply put, students are coming to school. They're coming to school because they are invested in themselves. They are invested in the school and the family environment that we have created.
We worked on podcasts for the first semester, I'm pretty sure, and that was a lot of fun. We got to go to the recording studio and just like present our podcasts, and I'm really passionate about like everything we do in English. I find it really interesting, and just like it gets me out of bed every morning to just like know that I can learn about something that I actually enjoy. Yeah. Science, I love science. I love Jeff too, our science teacher. I think everything we learn is just so fun, and like you said, it's like a family. So whatever we do, we usually have fun with it, like solar eclipse and whatnot. I think we're making ice cream next week. Yeah.
I have been bestowed the microphone. So I'm currently in Algebra 2, and so right now we're simplifying radicals, which, yeah, vocabulary words, ooh, scary. I love math, so I enjoy the class, and our math teacher makes it, she's a very good teacher, and she helps us, she's always helping us catch up, even when, like, she might not need to be in work, she'll help students and come in on Fridays. Um, uh, I took my math test today. Got a 91%. Yeah. I so yeah, math. We also have we're doing geometry right now as well, which I'm not in right now. We're also doing social studies, which is currently led by our English teacher, Emily, and she's been doing a great job of, she's basically done an entire timeline. So we started with prehistory. So we went over um, um, just like Homo sapiens, cavemen, and we've worked all the way up. And right now we're looking into Native American history because we were planning on going on a trip related to that. And yeah, it's my favorite subject. She always makes sure to um, try and do different things with us, different types of projects, so that we can stay engaged and want to show up to class. So yeah. Okay, so this is passing our passing contract. So contract is where, so we have the 2 week modules, and contract is showing up and doing the work during those 2 week modules. So while there is a lot of yellows and reds of where we struggled a little, our teachers really try to help us so that we can gain our credits back and our points so we can do things at home. A lot of kids, like, they just can't be at school sometimes because things happen, and the teachers make it to where we are able to get our points and credits in other ways. Um, for example, right now I'm struggling with PE. I hate physical education. Sorry, but and I'm a little worried about it because I'm a senior. I need that credit. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the gym class, but I'm also biking, and so I'm marking that down, and so that will go towards it. And our teachers are just working very hard to get us to do this and to get us to get points other ways. And they, I mean, we love them so much. We don't want to disappoint them either. So, yeah.
Awesome. So we had set the goal that 75% of students are passing contract, because essentially if you're passing contract, you are earning enough points to be earning your credits. Echo what Scotty said, as much as this might be like, oh, like, the yellows are okay, and we are creative and we find alternative ways, right, to help students and get them there. Do you want to talk about leadership?
Yes. So I was in leadership for a semester, and I'm pretty sure we have to, like, pass contract and things to be able to get into leadership. And we just organize our events. So, like, right now they're organizing prom. We run family meetings, which is sort of like our assemblies. We have them weekly, where we share things and, like, events that are coming up, which we plan in leadership. We share local events happening around town and resources around town, and we have general leadership skills. So we try to also just plan things to make people want to come into school. We'll have karaoke nights and things like that, and it's also just very useful because it teaches us to plan and lead and also do presentations, which is important. My little cousin, I encouraged her to join so that she could have something to put on her resume, and she could learn how to lead and plan and present things.
So before we show you our video, which Josh, I need sound. Maybe. I would love for Scotty and Milo. I think actually you guys are probably both in the video, but like since you're here live, why does HEA work for you?
You like to go first?
I just love HEA. I haven't been to the normal high school, but I already know that having my own like structure and way to work around things at my own pace is so much more helpful. And I love everyone there. It's